Hello, Internet. It's your old pal Doc Awesome here, welcoming you back for another Borderlands video. Since my last video, I have been playing a ton of Borderlands 3. I've sunk maybe 15 to 20 hours into it and reached level 21 as of this recording. So by now, you're probably wondering, well, how is it? Is it good? Is it bad? Or oh no, is it really, really bad? Well, the short answer is, it is awesome. Despite its flaws, I've been having an absolute blast with it, and I highly recommend you go grab a copy so that you can do the same. It has the two things that a Borderlands game needs: lots of crazy space guns and plenty of interesting things to shoot them at. But like I said, it does have its flaws, and one of the biggest is the writing. The jokes just aren't as sharp, and even old fan favorite characters feel flatter and more two-dimensional than ever. And nowhere is this more apparent than with our villains, the Calypso twins. They never really rise to the level of being hateable. They always just kind of hover somewhere around obnoxious. Like, sure, I would kill them just to shut them up, but I wasn't dying to do it like I was with Handsome Jack. And while I certainly didn't expect them to outdo one of the greatest villains in the history of video games, sadly the Calypso twins do not even come close. So let's talk about what is good in the game. Namely the shooting and the looting. There is tons of interesting things to shoot and loot in Borderlands 3. So pretty. Guns feel weightier, chunkier, and more impactful than ever before. They've never handled this well, and it feels great to shoot things. In addition, you will be finding much more interesting loot in the early game than is typical for a Borderlands game. For instance, I found this legendary corrosive pistol at level 13. A legendary pistol at level 13. And even ages later, now at level 21, it still melts through robots and body armor like hot butter on toast. I have been playing through the game as Mose the Gunner, and of course, one of the highlights of being the Gunner is the Iron Bear. You get to summon up a giant mech, put a little dash of Titanfall in your Borderlands, and just rain down fury on bandits and monsters and robots and bosses. It's an incredibly powerful feeling. You feel almost invincible and unstoppable every time you call up the Iron Bear. It's an event every time, and I never get tired of just pelting my enemies with rockets from afar. Part of what makes Mose and the Iron Bear so awesome is this skill, Torg Cross Promotion, which makes it so that every time you cause splash damage, there's a chance it will double. Which leads to some amazing moments, like this one. Awesome, right? What it means is every time you throw a grenade, or shoot a red barrel, or pull the trigger on a Torg pistol, you have a chance to do double damage. You'll send enemies flying if you don't just outright turn them into a puddle of paste and meaty chunks. And Torg pistols are the best in the game. Every pull of the trigger feels like you're launching a tiny ballistic missile. Another thing Borderlands 3 has in abundance is interesting boss encounters. So far, Mouthpiece has proven to be my favorite. I just really dug his whole evil DJ aesthetic. He looked really cool. His arena was awesome. It was almost a shame to have to kill him. Oh, and then there was this crazy guy, the supercomputer that was actually a brain in a jar. And this fight was actually the source of one of the few lines that made me actually laugh out loud, which was when Zero told me I had to hack him with my gun. I did a little bit better. I hacked him with a minigun and a rocket pod. And then there was Kilovolt, the first classic bastard of a boss I encountered in this game. This dude must have killed me at least a dozen times before me and Iron Bear were finally able to put the hurt on him and reduce him to a pile of guns. Man, victory was sweet. And so are the guns. I have seen but the tiniest fraction of the billions of guns in Borderlands 3, and they all look awesome and do interesting things. Like this electro submachine gun that totally eats through shields while putting up a shield of its own. Even the most basic guns that you will encounter early on will still have some pretty interesting abilities and effects. Like take this ordinary common tier TDR shotgun, which shoots fire and explodes into a cluster bomb when you throw it. Very, very useful for clearing out a crowd of unruly children of the... And the newest manufacturers to the party, the Children of the Vault, have an interesting spin on their weapons. They all look like cobbled together handmade messes with Coke bottles for scopes, but they all fire continuously without the need to reload. That's right, you never have to reload these, but over time they will overheat and break. It's an interesting new mechanic for Borderlands 3, one that I don't think I've seen used before. It makes the Children of the Vault weapons very useful in a firefight, but also kind of a double-edged sword. You can't reload on your own time. Eventually your gun's going to overheat and break. And finally, let's talk about the Atlas guns, which fires smart bullets that home in on the enemies, just like the ZX-01 from The Fifth Element. It is a tremendously useful gun to have, especially in boss fights, so that you can focus on avoiding damage rather than lining up perfect shots. I definitely wouldn't have survived Kilovolt without... Wait a minute. Hold on just a second. A big guy with a shield and a custom killer arena who shoots sparkly lights at you? Where have I seen that before? Oh. Right. I guess Kilovolt wasn't that special. Well, that was my first impressions video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.